All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for coming to our record book training. Hopefully you'll find this really helpful in learning how to keep better records for your 4-H. Our record books for Milam County are going to be due June 22nd. 21st. I'm sorry. That's a Monday. June 21st. That includes our Clovers, juniors, intermediates, and seniors. And we're going to go over a little bit on each one of those. We'll see how far we get within the hour, depending on if we have to slow down or speed up or whatnot. So we'll see where we get. So hopefully you can see my screen. It has record book training on the front, back to the basics training. So hopefully you can all see that. And I'm going to go on to that screen and get started. So can everybody see it? If you can give me a thumbs up or a yes or something. If y'all can still see my screen on there. Yes. Okay, great. Great. We're going to go on then. So the first thing I want to talk about when you're doing record book is what is a record book. They're great ways to keep records of your 4-H career. Some people like to look back on them. They are fun to look at when you graduate, all those crazy hairs. Those are just kind of the fun ones. But the really important one right now is to provide opportunities for awards and scholarships, mainly on the scholarship end. If you talk to any of our graduates and 4-H members that have graduated, scholarships are the main thing that they are really do 4-H record books for, because that prepares you and gets you ready to put those scholarship information in there. That's why it's also important to keep every year and save it on your computer. So, because when you do your scholarship, you're going to be putting all your years, all 10 years, usually that's about that amount of time, all 10 years into that 4-H scholarship. Again, they also help you fill those out. I know our kids that do scholarships can definitely tell you. Probably Corley, I know, is on here, and probably JW probably can tell you. I think he's on here. He can tell you how much his brother and Corley's brother, it helped them out on their 4-H scholarships. You can also apply for awards. And then in 4-H, we also have, if you win in Texas, if you win with your state record book, you win a trip to Washington, D.C. So that's always a nice little incentive. And they have really great awards for winning at state. So where do we begin? This is the part that you get kind of, you're like, what in the world do we need to start when you're doing a record book? So the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you pick out a main project. Typically, it may be your favorite project, or it may be one that you have the most 4-H experiences in, leadership and community service. So it may be your favorite, but you may not have very much in it. So you can pick that as a second and pick something else that you have a lot of experiences in. Make sure that you write down, a way to do that is to write down all your 4-H projects. Write them all down on a piece of paper. Think about what projects you have, and that, and then you need to number them off, rank them. And that'll help you determine your order in your record book of how many you need and what order they need to go in. Keep records of all those 4-H projects. I'm going to go into a little more detail on those 4-H projects in a minute, so just hang with me. Keep a records of all your 4-H projects and your activities, everything. 4-H and non-4-H, and expand upon those 4-H projects. Really try to think of those throughout all your 4-H years. Don't just start at your last senior years. You want to start at 3rd grade and move your way up. I know, and I do refer back to Texas, but I think Riley, they're from Michigan, so that's why I'm saying in Texas. But in Texas, you need, in a 4-H record book, you need 4 to 5 projects in your record book, preferably 5 or more, because we have your main section has 4 projects, and then you have another section for other 4-H projects. Now you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I don't have that many, but you'd be surprised what you can come up with that has a project. And remember also that these projects include 6 learning experiences, and it doesn't have to have a contest to be related. So say you have a garden and you do a garden at home, but maybe you're not really doing any contests with it or any such things, but you have a garden at home, you can learn 6 things very easily about a garden. So you can make that part of your project. Or citizenship and civic education, that's community service. So you can do that and do community service as part of your project. Taking care of your dog at home. Maybe you have a dog at home, you feed it, you water it, you take it to the vet. You can have 6 learning experiences that include, you don't have to go to a dog show and participate in a dog show for it to be a project. So remember that it's not a requirement to have a contest and have where you're meeting with a group. You can do it all on your own and make it a project. When labeling your book, you need to make sure that you always label your projects based on the 4-H projects right down here. Make sure that you use those 4-H projects. So for instance, I've had some kids put on their baking as their food nutrition project. Well, you need to make sure that you put food nutrition, not baking. Or you might think you're showing livestock and you may put on their Milam County Junior Livestock Show. Well, that's not the contest. It's not the contest. It's that livestock project. So it may be goat, poultry, beef, whatever. And it maybe you're showing commercial heifers. Well, don't put commercial heifers as your project. You're going to put beef as your project. So make sure that you keep within that project title. Ways to keep records. There's the calendar method. That's the part that I think is most important. I like that way. That's the way I keep records. Get a calendar, write down everything you do in 4-H, keep it in your car so you can keep a tally of what it is. You can put that in your phone or you can put it on an actual paper calendar. Notes. This is also another way I sometimes do on my phone. I will go in and make a notes on my iPhone and I'll write down like community service, Luke did blah, blah, blah on this day. And I'll write down that date and what he did. So if he led a pledge at the 4-H meeting, I would write down September, blah, 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 led a 4-H pledge, so that way I have it down. You can also update your old book. And I will tell you, I did that last year and I was so good about helping my kid every month getting it updated. This year, I'm learning as other parents of being the procrastinators that we all are. And it's okay, it happens, but not updating it. So we'll see how hard this is going to be. So, but if you're one of those that's very organized, update that old book each month and save it so that way you have it. And whenever it's ready in time, you don't have to go through everything like the week before or the night before. I know some of y'all, I do know y'all, that will do it the night before. Don't do that, but try to keep up with that stuff. Ways to keep records, leadership, helping a friend or helping someone lead at a 4-H event, community service, 4-H activities and non-4-H activities. Project, even if it's, on leadership, even if you help clean up after a 4-H meeting or you're cleaning up after a 4-H event that they had, you said, oh, well, let me help with the sign-in sheet and you help out with that, write that down. Or anything that you do community service wise, even if it's helping at a chamber event or helping at a community cleanup event, whether it's 4-H or non-4-H, write it all down. Project learning experiences, anything you learn. So anytime it relates to those projects that you put down, make sure you write it down. And so that way you're remembering that you learned them. You don't necessarily on those nowadays have to have the actual date. So just putting down what you learned is good. Workshops and clinics, putting down your workshop and clinics, write down those. What's helpful is looking at the 4-H blast. I keep every single one of our 4-H blasts, which those are our newsletters for Riley in y'all's state and y'all's county. Y'all may have a 4-H newsletter. That's our 4-H newsletter, is the 4-H blast. So review those 4-H blast. Yes, what'd you say?
I have a question. So our county does not do record books, and I'm kind of trying to get into the project of doing a record book.
Uh-huh.
So do you guys keep like your overall 4-H experience in a record book and then each individual project and animal, or how does that work?
So in a minute, yeah, I'll show you how we do our report forms, and then that way it'll help you. But yeah, we do 4 years and 4 projects.
Okay.
So yeah, in a minute, and then when see if I answer that by the end, and if I don't, we'll review that again. Does that work for you? Yeah, just holler at me at the end, and we'll make sure that we touch base with your question on that.
Sounds good.
Awesome. We're just glad to have you. That's awesome. I'm super pumped. All right. Ways to also expand, and Riley, even on y'all's in your state, these are great ways to expand on those record books. So take pictures of everything you do, guys. Don't just take pictures of you with your ribbon at the stock show. Make sure that you're taking a picture of you actually washing your animals, clipping your animals, baking your breads, baking things, tending to your gardens, taking care of your animals, any of those things that you're doing. I know we even have one of our 4-Hers doing theater arts, having you taking pictures out of play of them actually practicing. So things like that, any of those action shots, put those in there because that'll be for your 4-H story. Build on your 4-H career every year, try to add something else more on your 4-H projects. I do know it's a little bit harder, and I'm not going to lie, this year has been really challenging. And I will, on a personal experience, just to give an example, my son's very own book is Natural Resources, and he did it off of the Junior Ranger program at the national parks. Well, because of COVID, that all closed down, and he didn't get to do any Junior Ranger stuff this year because of the closure of that. So, there might be an opportunity where you just need to have to change your record book category. I don't honestly really suggest that you change it often. Maybe just try to keep it on that same one, or maybe you rotate. If you are, just kind of rotate between the same projects you're already doing. But I really don't think you should ever, on that main project category, try to change it if you don't have to. Sometimes you just have to, but I definitely would say try to keep it that same main category, and then have your other projects, and then build upon those. And as you get older, you're going to want to build upon those 4-H experiences even more on the leadership end, teaching younger kids. We want you to go from a 4-H member doing things and learning things, and then go into the leadership mode where you're teaching the younger kids about those things. So that's where we want you to get to. And then even on that senior level, getting up to where you're even teaching other peers. I know we have one of our 4-Hers that actually led a workshop reasons clinic at the district level, district and state level. So getting up to that point, again, you're not going to do that as a junior, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grader, but you're going to want to move your way all the way up. Okay, what to do next? We do have a record improvement guide that we use. It's a really great way to know what to do, especially when you're filling out that book. What are the guidelines for margins? What are the guidelines for font size, fonts, things like that? Look at that record improvement guide to know what guidelines are in place for that. But then we also have a record book tips. I'm going to show y'all how that is and what it looks like. I've actually developed it with our district specialist, and now she's state specialist, but I developed that with her to help y'all out, and I'll show you how it works because it's a really awesome document. Also, review forms to know what you need to look at. Really rarely do we change our record book forms each year. And so that way we'll be able to tell you what's changed, but really you can go on the website anytime and look at them. They have been updated already for this year, but make sure you keep up to date with those new forms and know what's going on. Seniors come up with a format on the record book forms that were required for us for our record books. There are blank forms. Yes, I know. And you're expected to come up with a format to use. Well, I've already created a format you can use with tables in those. I'll show you in a little bit. You're like, what in the world is she talking about? But on, say for instance, section 1 is a blank page, and you have to come up with a format to put your information on that page. Well, I came up with a table that you can use, or you can find your own format for that. So that's what I'm talking about there. And also work on your 4-H story. You know, parents, and I will tell you this, and this is one thing I didn't start with. Let me rephrase that. Remember, parents, I encourage you, this is a family project. This is not a go tell your kid to go in a room and go make a record book. You don't ever do that to your child. Work with them, help them out, review it with them. Now, once you get to that senior level, I do have some seniors, I think JW and Natalie, a few of y'all that are in here, y'all do it on your own, but you're also seniors and you can do that. But as a young junior intermediate, don't expect them to go into a room and do a record book. They need parents' help. So really make sure that you're involved and you help your kids out. The story, though, however, is a great way for the younger ones to really get involved in the record book process with the 4-H record book. And again, don't wait till last minute. I know we're all procrastinators, but try to get started now. Y'all on this today already made a huge difference. All right. Other ways to help you with a record book is to attend record book trainings, ask others about completing their record books and how to do those. We do have examples on our website that you can look at and get some ideas on how to do one. General guidelines. Handwriting is acceptable, especially in the Clover books. Always have someone check over your grammar and punctuation, especially if you're going on to that next level. You definitely want to have like an English teacher or someone. I try to make sure that I review the record books after the county to make sure they look okay for district and for state. On the margins, really watch your margins. There are specifics on those because they need to fit into our 4-H record book. And I think, Riley, on y'all's, if y'all, oh, you said you didn't do one, but if y'all state did do it, they have a general 4-H green notebook that we use through the state for National 4-H Mall. Now, with those notebooks, if you're a first year 4-H record book participant, in our county, you get one for free. That's part of your thing. And then if you add a year, then you have to buy a new one for each year. So,
where did you say those were? Because I know I've looked at the 4-H Mall before, and all they had were the record book covers, not
yes, yeah, those are the record book covers. They're the green ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
those
do you
are the
guys
record book covers we use? Mm-hmm.
Do you guys just use like a normal notebook that you put in there, or?
No, what we usually do is we just hole punch the papers and we put them in that record book cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a 3-hole punch in there. It's weird when you open them. They look kind of funky. Like, what in the world? How do you put this in there? But you kind of have to open it, and it's got brads where you put hole punch it and put the papers in. So
that makes sense.
No, it's good. I'm glad you're asking these questions because we have some newbies in here. So no, please ask away anytime. That's what I'm here for. Awesome. Good questions. Okay. Also, you can use regular paper, but you cannot use construction paper and no sheet protectors. That's why we have the record book cover. Creativity is encouraged to an extent. But I really say, that's when you can kind of be a little creative. It's when you do your story. And font, again, try to always stay with color, like maybe headings and things. That's what I do with our kids, is make them different colors on the headings and the different projects. And then a minimum, some judges don't like it. I like it, but that's, it's a judge's preference on that. And then a minimum of 10-point font and easy to read. We do have our categories, which are Clover, Junior, Intermediate, and Senior. Our Clovers, this is a record book that I made for our Clover kids. And so what we do is it has just basic information. You can get that on our record book website, or also if you are a record book family doing one here in Milam County, you can come by and I can make a book for y'all. Just let me know so that way I can make them ahead of time. But I make little booklets for y'all to fill out. And all you have to have on there is basic information. You do need to add pictures, so make sure you have pictures just like the others. I have went through today and I added all the meeting dates on the Recordbook and the Clover website. So that way you have all the dates and what we did on each one of those dates, because that is required for the Clover book, not for the junior, intermediate, and senior. There's no dates that are required for that. And at the back this year, we did add the Clover Award application. So that way all they have to do is fill it out and bring it in. Those books, again, if you want a book form, holler at us and we have those on the website or at the office if you want to come by, or you can print them on at home. These are our Clover meetings that we had this year. We did a Zoom for some of y'all that are Clover buds. We did a Zoom each month. And so I do have these dates, but again, I post them on the Clover Bud website and the Recordbook website. So that way you'll have them. Because I know I was looking for, I have 2 of them, Clover Buds. I have to help do a Recordbook. And I was like, oh gosh, what did we do each month myself? So I wrote those down and put those on both websites. Let's go on to the meat and potatoes of the Recordbooks. Oh, can everybody still hear me okay? Are there any questions right now before we go to the next? I'm going to put that form in real quick. Again, for those that did not. Awesome. Yay. Thank y'all. Okay. Any other questions before we go on to the next part? Please make sure that if you haven't already, make sure that you filled out the form. Okay, we're going to go on to the next section. So in a Recordbook, we have different sections that go in there for junior, intermediate, and senior. So we already went over the Clover Buds. This is the 4-H Recordbook regular. So we have our check sheet, personal information page, 4-H story and photo portfolio, 4-H report forms. And those are the sections, main sections. And then we're going to go over each one. This table is included in the tip sheet and on the website. So that way, if you need to look at it, but it's also going to be on the PowerPoint that I'll post later. All right. Check sheet. Again, check sheet is the main thing you have to have on the front of your book. Personal information page. And then it has to have your story and photo portfolio and senior report form. On the check sheet, you do have to have that main category that you're going to be entering in, which is your main project. And then it's a check sheet that they'll sign off at county, district, and state level, depending on which level you go to. Again, only juniors, intermediates, and seniors can go to district, and then only seniors can go to state. And it's only the first place Recordbook. So if you have a category in it, you need to make sure that you once you go to first place, then you can go to district and then to state, but only first place get to go. Personal information page. That one, I do want to warn you on that one. You do need the club totals. I'll update later on those club totals, how many you need. So make sure that you get that from your extension office. Sometimes I post those on the Recordbook website, so that way you know how many you have from each club, because it does need a club total of how many in your club. All right, and I do like them to be all the same, so I do try to put those club totals on the website. 4-H story and photo portfolio. I really like it. It's a lot of fun for you to be able to talk about your 4-H career. You really want to talk about this in your story. Again, it's a separate Word document. Did I pass that? I guess I put that in the wrong. Oh, here it is. It's a separate Word document. It needs to be 10 pages, 3 pages of text and 3 pages of photos. Now, if you are a junior, it doesn't have to be that many pages. Intermediates and seniors, I try to tell you, please make sure that you make it to 10 pages. I really don't like you to go less than that much, unless you're like 6 to 8. I would say in junior about 6 pages minimum. On that one. Also, it does need to have a title, and that title must have my 4-H, your record book category, so whatever it is, story and photo portfolio. Now, if you want to make it jazzy and fun after that, like, I had one of them that her name was Dorothy, and she did kind of a Wizard of Oz theme. And if she had that title, she had to have that as her subtitle. So make sure that you always have it as my 4-H, that record book category, story and photo portfolio, then your subtitle after. And you're going to want to focus on your current year, but you can put previous years in there. I'm going to go back one, because I put it out of order. I didn't realize that. When you're doing your story and photo portfolio, make sure that you do it in this order. It needs to be in this order. That is in your record improvement guide, as well as in the tip sheet that I'll show you in a little bit. Make sure it stays in this order. Do not get it out of order. I do count off as a judge if it's not in this order. And it's simple stuff. Info about yourself, your family, your community. You can always put a picture of your family in here. When and why did you join 4-H? If you say my mom made me, make sure you follow it up with something else after that. Main project goals. What are your main project goals? What are the most important things you learn? Highlights of that main project, and then follow them up with your other 4-H projects. After that, you're going to talk about your leadership and community service. Then how do you become a better leader and citizen? That's kind of that's where you kind of put the community service and leadership. Then you also need to, even if you're a junior, little kid, all little kids know what they want to be when they grow up. Set goals, have goals. What do you want to be? Your 4-H goal, have a career goal, and maybe just a regular 4-H goal that you want to, like, maybe get a certain award, or you want to be better at learning more plants and play an ID, something of that sort. And then you're going to have photos in there in between. Photos are not required to have them within the story. However, I think they really help. I do, if I were y'all, if you're doing one, what I would do, my recommendation is to do the story in Word document. And then if you have Publisher, plop it into Publisher and then add your photos. If you add photos in a Word document, it gets really hard and it jumbles up. Better make sure that you wrap your text. So it's really important that you work on wrapping your text and make sure that it doesn't get anchored. So if you have questions or need help with that, holler at me and I can try to help you with it. All right. Items to look at with your record book. You definitely want to look at making sure that you have all the different levels, club, county, district, state, national, international. National and international are more for our seniors. Sometimes you may have that depending on if you went out of state. I know Riley, with y'all's record book, if you did it, you could actually have a national because you are from Michigan. So you could actually include that. Leadership, promotion, volunteer, and elected. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then community service, yourself, member, and primary. So let's go into sections real quick. We're doing pretty good on time. What is your project? How did you change or grow? This section, again, is a blank page. However, in my record book on the website, on our 4-H, Milam County 4-H one, we have one that says with tables. When you download your record book forms, make sure you pick with tables. And I have created a table in there for you. This is where you put 4 projects, and it says current year only. That's wrong, actually. 4 years, 4 projects. I will fix that later. So 4 years, 4 projects. You have a 3-page maximum, and that's for seniors. You always make sure that you list your main project first. There's some items in here, some just, ideas, but if you look at the record book tips, I give you really some specific information on that, on how to do those. Again, you're going to want to do your levels on there. County, district, state, national, and international. Leadership experiences. How did you assist others? This is when we include our promotion, volunteer, and elected appointed. Promotional is how did you promote 4-H. Volunteer is anytime you led. That also goes with your pledges, bringing your refreshments to the meeting. Any of your fundraising goes in volunteer. That's your volunteer. Help set up the tables, help clean up after the meeting. That's volunteer. That goes on volunteer. And then elected appointment. So if you're on a committee, I do want to make sure you know, Natalie, JW, y'all are on the FCH coalition. You would include that on there as a elected appointed. Also, any of your club officer positions are elected appointed. Committees, any committees that you do, that would be elected appointed. Oh, I think we lost Natalie at one point. 4-H community service. Community service, this includes your 4 years. It can be anything: cleanups, donations, visitations, presentations, care packages, any of those community services. Remember, again, fundraisers do not go in community service. Fundraisers go in leadership, volunteer leadership. They do not go in community service. The code events for that are yourself, member, and primary. When you're doing yourself, this is something you did. So let's talk about a coat drive. We're going to use this as an example. So you have a coat, you decide for the winter, you're going to donate all your old coats. Okay. So you go through your dresser or your closet, you pick out all the coats and you donate them to a coat drive at school. That's yourself. If you're a member of a group, you decide, your club announces Cameron 4-H Club is taking donations for coat drive. So you take all your coats out of your closet and you take them to the 4-H meetings. That would be a member of a group. Then P, primary leadership, that's when you coordinate it yourself. So if you say, okay, Thorndale 4-H Club, we are going to have a coat drive this fall and we're going to collect all of the coats. I need you to bring them all. You bring them all and then you take them over there, or your officer team does it. Now, you can use primary leadership or a P if you're an officer group planning and coordinating the event. You don't have to do it all by yourself. So if your officer team does a community service event, you can do and count that as a P. Make sure though, when you use those words in that group and you talk about that in your 4-H record book, make sure you always use keywords like coordinated, led, organized. So that way it indicates that you did do primary leadership. Any questions on that one? Again, juniors, I really don't fear on the P. It's okay if you don't have that. You don't have to have a P as a junior. I would really work on doing a P later on throughout your year, especially as we're getting toward the end of the year. And it was kind of a funky year and we couldn't do much. So the P, you really want to work on doing that. I know, Riley, y'all are not from Texas, but you can, go through these and make sure that you have all 3 levels is a good thing, not just doing something all by yourself. Try to do it as a member of a group or trying to lead that community service, because that's where we ultimately want to bring you to that level. As a senior, I really recommend that you at least have 2 or 3 primary leaderships within that current year. You can lump up some of the years. So if you've done it multiple years, say for our Feeders of the Lambs, y'all know about that, our summer feeding program. When we used to feed people during the summer for Feeders of the Lambs, that was something we did every year, and the clubs organized those days. That would be an example of a way to clump up the years. Other 4-H projects. This one also is a blank document. But I've taken the section 1 document and added it to that part. So that way you have a table. So basically this is any of your other 4-H projects that you participated in. They may be your weaker ones or ones that you don't have much in. So, something that you've done, or maybe like you've had a garden and that's your gardening project, that might be put in there. 4-H recognition, again, these are pretty self-explanatory. It's 4-H awards. You are limited on how many awards you can put in. So make sure you keep on those. At the top of each page of the record book form, it does give you your requirements. So make sure that you always look at the top of the record book form. Don't ever cut those out. Keep those headings on each of the forms. You do have to, let me point out on 4-H recognition and awards, there is this section of how important is it to you. Make sure, this is a great way for you to put like, I won first out of 16 entries. Now, if you don't remember how many were in there, that's fine. If you know an estimate of that, that's great. But it's a great way to showcase, because some people may say, I got 3rd place, or maybe I got 7th place, but 7th place is out of 100 people. I know, especially with our San Antonio Consumer Awards, you may get 10th high individual, but there's 100 kids that participated. Well, 10th is really good, but it may not sound good at a county level where there was only 10, So make sure if you know those numbers, especially judging card is great for that, because if you do a contest judging on judging card, it can give you those. So make sure and go back. We're almost done. So non-4-H activities, I really encourage you to use the form that I created on that, which are experience, leadership, service, and honors. So make sure that you include all your other 4-H and divide your columns out by leadership, service, and honors. College and exploration. This is the one that I really want to hone in on. Please make sure that you try to get quite a few filled out on this. And remember all of these things below where it says interviews, tours, job shadowing, research, mentoring, work experience, skill development. You can, as a junior, even if you watch the Food Network and you learn about food nutrition, you can include that as part of your college and career exploration, because you're learning about careers. So don't forget those little tiny minute. Also, award interviews can go in there. Important dates to remember: June 21st, that our record books are due. Awards, don't forget to apply for awards, because there are a lot of awards that don't require record books. And then there's some that do. So if you do them, you can apply for those awards if you do a record book, or you can apply for the non-record book ones. Don't worry about your club manager signatures. We'll sign those on the 21st, because I'm having a club manager meeting at the same time. Also, parents, I'd really encourage you to judge at the county level and the district level, because it really, really helps out to know how to judge one and how record book looks. That's the best way to learn on record books, is have parents judge record books. Also, yesterday was the due date for the record book registration, just to kind of, it's like an intent to apply kind of thing. So if you missed that, make sure you check the 4-H blast. Go on in there today and say what you plan to do for your record book. You can go ahead and do it today. That's fine. And don't wait to start. Get started now. This is our website, join4h.com. Click on activities and record books, and that's our website. I do want to go over real quick, and I'm going to go over real quick the website, just so that way you can look at the website and know. Let me pull that up over there. And then we're almost done, I promise. Let me find that for us. Oh, let me do the tips real quick first. Recordbook tips. All right, let me share that real quick. And we're almost done. All right, share. Okay, so this is the Recordbook tip website or sheet. So if you see on here, it says 2019-20, but it's all the same still. But this is the Recordbook tip sheet. Again, it has how to do your Recordbook, the how to do, you know, some of those tips I talked about. It talks about the summary, has the check sheet, what it looks like, has little, and then you'll see these little star things. Can everybody see it all right? Can everybody see my screen, hopefully? Okay, good. You see these little star things, they give you little tips on everything. Also, story and photo portfolio, it has all the information on this. And then look at this, I love this part. Examples specific to common projects. So if you look on this right side, it goes into specifics on ideas on what to put in your Recordbook in this section. Same
Hey,
on,
Miss Mike, I have a question.
sure, Natalie.
So are y'all having 2020 and 2021 new form sheets for Recordbook?
Yes, they are on the website. I just did it the other day. Did you not?
Okay, but it's like the same sheets as last year's. It just has a different number of 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, totally, Natalie. If you want to go ahead and just change the date, that's all I did. Yeah, nothing changed except
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah, no, you're totally fine. Thank you. That's a good question. Yeah, if you've already done them, you can just do those. So if you see down below under each one, it gives you ideas on what to put under each one. So make sure and look, that's on the Recordbook tip area. So this, I mean, guys, if y'all use this, you can easily fill out a simple one and go with that and do really well with that Recordbook. So just follow this. Again, that's a Recordbook tip sheet, and that's on the website. And then I want to show real quick. Can y'all see my, the website? I closed out the other one. Can y'all see the website? Natalie, can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Just okay, thank you. So on here is our Recordbook website. If you don't know how to find it, it's on the front page as a simple click on. And then if not, if you can't find that, events and activities, and then Recordbooks. When you go to our website, it has the new deadline. It will be June 21st at the Chamber Boardroom. We need everybody to fill out a registration form if you haven't done so already. And that registration form also asks you parents if you would like to judge at the county and district level. I don't know if I have Samantha LaFesti on here. Is she on here? Is Samantha on here? Is that Samantha LaFestis? I don't know. That's her, but Samantha's been one of my judges, and she can probably tell you how awesome it is to judge. If you have the opportunity to judge, make sure you come and judge. It really helps out a lot. Again, here's all the other dates on there. They have, when I'm going to let you know by the end of this week who has a double in the book. In case you want to change your category, you can. So those are the dates. Then I have more of the details. Here's the new forms. You can go to the state, or you can go down below here. And right here has the, if you see right in here, let me do my little annotate or draw. Let me do right, where is it? This one right here. As you can see, this one is the one with the Recordbook with the forms built-in tables. You don't have to use them, but I definitely say if you're a first-year 4-H'er doing a Recordbook, I would really go with these and start out with them, and then you can critique your own tables as you go through. Some do that, start out with it, and then use it later. I know Riley, if you want to use it on your end, that might help you with getting started for y'all's for your state.
And what is the website?
It's join4h.com. And once you go to that front page, yeah, we own the rights to it because we're awesome. Yeah, join4h.com, and then you go to our front page, and on the bottom of it, it says Recordbooks.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
On the page where it had the other day to sign people up for the record books,
Yes.
it didn't have a link on there to do for the Clover Buds. It just had for the junior, intermediate, and senior.
Yes.
Do we
yes,
still need to sign up the Clover Buds?
No, you're good. That one, it doesn't matter what category you're in. So I didn't include it because it wasn't a worry on that one. So yeah, you don't have to worry about doing for Clover Buds.
Okay. So we just take and turn those in?
Yes. Good question though.
Okay.
Thank you for asking that. And then also I noticed Tony helped me remember, but I had used last year's form and it worked so well. So I accidentally put the wrong grade level on there. So make sure that you know it's for this past year's grade. So make sure that you did that. Thank you, Tony, for noticing that. But yeah, if you have a Clover Bud, you do not have to fill out the registration form. It's only for the junior, intermediate, senior. All right. I'm trying to think. Again, if you notice, I'm gonna stop clear all drawings. There we go. Okay, so down below, you also see under here, this is the Clover Bud. If you have a Clover Bud, there's all the meetings and what we did and the dates for y'all to use. Again, here's that record book summary of what you need to use. And then down below are record book examples to help you out. So if you have any questions, I do have my own sons. If you would like to send me an email, I'll put my email in here and I can send you my kiddos to help you out, especially some of the kids that do the same things. I'll send you, I don't mind sending it out to anybody, just email me. And that's also my email if you have any questions at all about record books. So, all right, I'm gonna leave the last 5 minutes for any questions. And if not, y'all need to get off and go where you need to go for the day. I did it within an hour. Woohoo!
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it helped out and gave you at least a head start on kind of what you need to get your brain in gear and going and what organized.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Any other questions of anybody? Have any other questions?
Hey, Micah, this is Lindy. I had a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, Lindy.
So you said that you'd be letting people know if there were duplicate projects. So are we trying to have a unique project for each age division? Is that what the goal is?
Yeah, so each age division, we have so each age will have those categories that you see over here on the website. And so what I do on there is I try to let y'all know if there's competition at the county level. So that way, if you do want to change it, some people don't want to change it and they're like, fine, we'll just compete at county and not worry about going on to district. But I try to spread them out if I can. So that way everybody gets to go to district and not Clovers, obviously, but junior, intermediate, seniors.
Gotcha. Do you know when we'll know that by?
Hopefully Friday.
Okay, perfect.
So I think everybody has pretty much, except for I went ahead and extended that registration today. Since I was having the training, I was like, oh, I might need to wait on that. So I went ahead and I'm waiting on the registration and I'll probably send it out tomorrow or Friday. You'll definitely know if there's competition in your category, age category.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
I was just thinking about you. I was like, oh, I hope y'all do record books. So good to have y'all on here. Awesome. Any other questions? And Riley, if y'all have time afterward, if y'all want to stay on, we can talk about those if that works for you. Any other questions y'all have? All right. Thank y'all so much for coming again. If you missed out on part of the presentation, I'm going to have it recorded and I'm going to put up the link on the website so that way y'all can look at the recording later, and that'll help you out. There's also some other recordings on the state website too, if you want to look at those PowerPoints that are more specific. So holler at me if you have any questions. Usually I try to do drafts, but this year I'm going to be out of town up north, and so I won't be able to look at drafts this year, but maybe I can look at them after county. All right. Thank y'all so much for attending. Riley, if y'all want to stay on just a few more minutes, we'll get you started and help y'all out. Thank y'all.